All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of World with Ty Brownlow. I'm your host, Ty Brownlow, and remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, look here. It's all about them relationships. It's about working together, all right? Marriage, y'all, all right? You know that black love, okay? You know that's what we about it out here, okay? All right. But let me get off that soapbox for a second. Joining me all the way from the East Coast, y'all know what it is, okay? All the way from Columbia, Maryland. Yep. Please put your hands together for Edward and Christina Sledge. Hello.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. As I said before, man, you know, husband and wife team, power couple, y'all, okay? You know, we about that over here, all right? And, man, that lovely signage behind you there, Sledge House Media. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about a bevy of other things as well. But one of the first things I want to talk about is basically you all have published some books, and, you know, we can get into that. And one of the first books I want to talk about, well, before we talk about anything else, let me just give listeners the names of the books. The Story of Christina and I, you see behind you there with the lovely roses, all right? And yes, all right, showing us, yes, okay, come on now. Come on through the books, all right? And Our Marriage, an essay. Oh, there it is. All right, and you see the young gentleman behind you there with the nice power suit on there that is called Ricardo's Collisions. Okay, oh, there it is, y'all.
There it is.
All right. There it is. And you all have a holiday entertainment book as well. Okay. And there it is with the two martinis. Okay, all right, team. Come on through now. Come on through. All right. And, you know, on top of that, it's just not about the books, you all. They have also, man, produced a short film as well. So you all have been very, very busy. Okay.
Yeah. Very busy.
A good busy. Great busy.
Oh, of course. Now, come on. Now, one of the first questions I will ask you, and I'm assuming we're talking about the story of Christina and I, is what inspired you to write your story about your marriage, and what do you hope your readers get from the book?
Well, what inspired me to, at first, when I was in grad school, I had a family relationship class, and I just, took it because I thought, I know about families, relationships, but when you're in there, you really don't know anything about family relationships when you're in the class. So our final assignment was to write at least 50 pages on one of our partners. They had to know about your life. She had to know about my life. And at the end, we discussed it, and she read it back to me, and I was like, wow, this. I told her about her life, and she said that was, crazy, but she said mine's just out the woodwork, like unbelievable. And I never looked at it like that. So I showed my wife the paper that she wrote, and then it made me want to connect the dots myself, because I don't know too many dots in my family that I could connect. So it made me just want to do connect the dots to myself, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna have this for my future, my grandchildren and family. But then I told her I cannot write my story without her, because I knew her since I was 14 years old. So I convinced her to, at first it was just for us and the family, but future grandchildren and stuff. And but someone read it and was like, this is a movie, put it out there. So we figured we put it out there and took it from there.
Yeah, and the really amazing part about it is we have like this predestined love story. We met in high school, but prior to that, we had several connection points that we didn't even know about.
We didn't know till we started writing the book, and we wrote the book, in our 20th.
Yeah, we've been married for 22 years.
Yeah.
And we started writing the book at year 19 going into 20. During the pandemic, we really buckled down and finished it. And it turns out that his father worked at the same hospital as my grandmother did. And we were born in the same hospital. Yes. 4 months apart. And in New York, that's a big thing. We're from Brooklyn. We're from Brooklyn, New York, originally.
BK all day.
Yes. We're from Brooklyn, New York, representing BK to the fullest.
That's right.
So that allowed us to see, oh wow, there were so many, and then his godfather lived literally right across the street, like around the corner from my house growing up as a kid.
Probably like 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to walk past her building to go see him. And I could have walked right past her, didn't even know. And she talked to them. She used to know them.
Yeah, I knew his godfather for years.
Yeah.
And then his uncle lived like 2 blocks away from my great grandmother's house in Queens and in New York.
Yep,
so like we visited his uncle, and I'm like, my grandmother lives like 2 blocks from here. It was crazy. So we knew, oh gosh, you know, we were really destined to be together. You know, I prayed for this man to re-enter my life. But there's more to the story. But if you like The Notebook, this is like what people are saying is the Black Notebook. And
it's true.
It's a true love story. It's a true love story.
It tells, what makes it unique is that we both tell our side from growing up, from being born, growing up with our families, and when we meet in high school, then from on, we live our lives and then come back together. We both tell it on the same time length from each other's eyes. So, you know,
Two point of view.
So sometimes, you know, one person write a book, the other person that he writes about may not see it that way. But actually she tells it how she saw it, and I tell how I saw it, and that's the unique part about it. So that everyone can relate to these ups and downs. Then we talk about our marriage and you know, everything else in it.
Yep.
Okay, so now I heard 4 months apart in the same hospital. Who's oldest?
I am.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, come on now. All right now, brother, come on now. All right. You gotta represent us now. Come on now. Come on now. No, hey, look, I love it. And as you all said, you know, hey, I'm not a big romance guy or whatever, but I do like love, and, you know, I like interesting stories. And that is a very interesting story how, hey, look, we're both from the same place, both born in the same hospital. Our families lived right, you know, like within seconds or minutes of each other, you know, like throughout our whole lives. You all meet in high school at 14, you know, but you already had this pre-connection beforehand, and once you all put the dots together and connected them, like, oh, okay, all right. And also what I love about it is you're doing it together. Okay?
Right.
You're doing it together. So now let me ask, because of that, you know, for being duo writers, what is some advice, you know, that you all have when writing with someone? Because, you know, like, as you all say, you know, to tell your story, and, you know, Edward, as you said, you took the class and you're sitting there and you're writing all this stuff down and you're like getting all this knowledge and this information, and, you know, you're like, hey, you know, okay, this is a little bit more interesting. But for you, you know, to put your story together with Christina and, you know, you all work together, like, you know, what is some advice that you all have when writing with someone else?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Have patience.
Yeah.
Patience and understanding, because, you know, you're gonna, you know, we wrote the story around like hundreds of times, just scratching one word out, scratching 5 words out, trying to make it fit and make it work for both of us. So you got to have patience and understanding of what you want to keep in and what you want to throw out.
Yeah, and we had to negotiate, you know, what was going to be in the book, what was relevant, what we would take out, you know, how we were going to present the information, how we present our stories. So I would definitely say you have to be willing to be flexible.
Yeah.
If you're going to work with someone to collaborate. And then also we, you know, we kind of put together an outline as we were going along, and we had to figure out, you know, how do we want to tell the story? And once we realized that, oh, wow, this, you know, we have a really good story. Once you really put it together, I think it's important to kind of think about that. You know, is there a theme that you're working on? Is it, a specific way you want to present the information. So that's a good thing to kind of sit down and just write it out in an outline as well.
And it's crazy. We lived in Brooklyn together, but we lived in two different parts of Brooklyn, far from each other, right? Same crime-ridden areas and everything. But the way she came to my school, I even seen her in junior high too. She came to my school, did a play, and I saw that play. So it's like all this stuff comes back to us. But the way that she got into my school, she shouldn't have been in my school.
Right.
So that led us together, and it wasn't love at first sight either.
He was pursuing another girl. I was with someone else.
Freshman year. Yeah.
I was with somebody else. I was with someone else. Yeah. But so he wasn't really checking for me, Yeah. But
I was chasing the other girl.
Yeah. But then we realized, I was looking at him like, hey, asked the girl, I was like, hey, is it all right if I, get with him? And she said, yeah, I don't like him. Go ahead, And so then we had like this love connection, and we were able to get together, and then he was chasing after me after that.
As soon as one of our friends asked me, did I want to go out with her? And I was like, yeah, I like to go out with her. And this is our second year, freshman year. And ever since then, I've been chasing her. Been with her, still chasing her. Not with her, chasing her. Just it's been it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Like, I love it. It's like and I don't want to compare the two, but I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking about a different world with Dwayne and Whitley. How like when he first got to him and she got to him, and they were like, but then one day the light turns on and Whitley's looking at Dwayne's looking at Whitley. And the next thing you know, they go through their trials and errors. Dwayne's dating somebody, Whitley's dating somebody, but eventually they come together. And it's man.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. Okay. Because I was a debutante, going to the cotillions and everything, and he was more, in the streets.
I was in the streets.
Yeah. So there's some similarities there. You got it. I never thought about that.
Actually, it's crazy because when I first met her, I was cutting class.
Yeah,
I was cutting class, chasing the other friend. So so
he was the bad boy. Yeah.
Okay, I see you. Hey, brother. Look here. You know what? You had purpose. All right. I mean, look, ain't nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we got to cut a little class, to get to our destiny. You know what I'm saying? But no, look, I love it. I love that story. And. It's relatable. Okay, like I don't care what nationality you are. That story is relatable across the board, because there are people out here, and I've had them on the show, where their stories are pretty much like yours, like, hey, well, maybe not, living in the same area or what have you, but have known each other for years, and it's been a constant back and forth, and then eventually one day, life happens, and you all are put together, and boom, here we are. Okay, all right. Look, Black love, y'all. I'm trying to.
Yes.
Come on now, y'all ain't gonna get this on Oprah or Ayana. Y'all gonna get this on Word with Brownlow today.
That's right. That's right.
Come on now. Come on. Oh, right. So now let me ask. Just sitting up here listening to your story, and it's. It's very inspiring. But now, look, we live in a day and age where social media, TV, movies, and things of that nature sort of like rule somewhat most relationships, for those who are really caught up in that sort of thing and want that type of life. But now let me ask you all, like, what advice do you all have, to make a relationship last?
All right. Well, like I tell everybody else, every marriage is like a fingerprint. Everything is different, right? I can't. What you do in your marriage, I can't take that and bring it into my marriage. It may not work. What I do in my marriage may not work for your marriage. And then, a lot of people that's newlyweds are getting into marriage. They do that. They get influenced by other marriages they see on TV or they hear their friends, and their marriage might work, but you can't bring that into your marriage because it may not work. It may not fit. And I think a lot of people do that. So with us, we already know this is love. We already know from day one we split apart or been together that there's no one else. Like this is us as a glue. So we just knew that nothing's going to break us as long as we stay together. There's nothing we can't accomplish or overcome. So that's the way we take it.
Yeah, but to give people advice, I would say, like Eddie said, every marriage is like a fingerprint, right? Mm-hmm. But there are certain constants throughout any relationship, and that would be communication, right? You have to be on the same page. You can't expect your partner to read your mind. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to express yourself and say, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through right now. And when you get to that point when you're just open, you have to be open and flexible to say, I'm willing to tell you what I'm going through, and that other person, the partner, has to be willing to listen. Yeah. So in that communication is open and honest communication, listening, trying to fully understand what they're going through from their perspective. That we learned early on because
keep your business in your house.
Yes, that's the other thing. Yep.
Because you tell people to vent and see other situations may help you, but it may fall into the wrong ears and then come out the wrong mouth, and it just could ruin your marriage.
Yeah. Things get blown out of proportion,
blown out of proportion when it does. Or someone, just always bring. You never know, but if you keep things in the house the best way you can, and only let people know what you want them to know, then your marriage could last a little bit longer.
Yep.
Look here, all I'm thinking about is when I was getting married, and the Reverend was like, "Hey, pretty much what you all said, and pretty much what you said, Edward. Hey, you are a family. And whatever happens stays with your family, not the whole family, but your family. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I heard you say that, I was like, you know what? I'm definitely thinking about what the Rev said. While we sitting up there getting married, I'm like, oh yes, brother, say it, preach that good word.
And you know what else? Very important. She said it before, listening. So our first couple of years, I was in the military when we got married. So we was a brand new military family. She was pregnant, so we both didn't know what we should do as a military family. But the first couple of years, we was broke and we was rough. I'm not listening. I'm in my ways because we didn't live together before we got married. We got back together. I met her that night. We got back together. I proposed. She said yes. 2 months later,
we're married. Yeah.
So on that note, we never spent time together or know each other living, but. I'm from the streets. I'm hot tempered. She's not taking it. We clashing. But once I sat there and listened to her and repeated what she said and gave her feedback instead of just looking at her like a deer in the headlights, just hoping that she'd be quiet, that helped. That helped a lot. That helped a lot. That I got to repeat what she said and give her feedback on it, and that helped our relationship so much. Yeah, we still argue. We still make love. We still argue. We love each other every day. But that is key when you listen to give feedback, no matter if it's a husband or wife, is key.
Hey, look. Now, what I'm hearing is there's listening and there's effective listening, and what you're talking about, sir, is effective listening. Like pretty much as you said. It's one thing to sit up there and just let her get it all out, and you're just sitting up there looking like a mole, okay, all right, sure, but to actually hear what it is that she's saying to you, and you take that in, and, you give it right back, like, look, this is what I heard you say, so, and then not only that, to be an effective, listener, but, man, solution oriented.
Right.
That's a key. Now, to me, that's a key thing too. We can talk about all this all day and, I can hear you, but what are we going to do about it at the end of the day? How do we take care of this?
Exactly.
And honestly, I could just tell you, I have friends who have been married longer than I have, but, I'm not going to put all their business out there, but effective listening is not at the top of some of their lists.
Yeah. You know what? Because we especially as young men, We are not trained to do that. So we train to have this wall up, because once we let this wall down, I know someone's gonna stab me in the neck with a pencil. So we train to keep this wall up, but when we keep this wall up, we don't listen, we don't get feedback, and we shut the other person out, and it hurts us. So like I said, I had to learn after 2 years to sit there and listen, and it is one of the best things that I could do.
Yeah, and thinking about the solutions, like that has always been a cornerstone of our marriage. We literally planned out our lives together. Like when we were 22, 23 years old, like our first year of marriage, we're big proponents of manifestation, but you have to put the action in place, right? So you have to take the steps to make that manifestation a reality. And so that has always been our focus too, is being very solution oriented. We have 4 degrees between us. And that's because we plan that thing out. We have 2 daughters, during a family, military family. So we had to be very strategic, and it's almost like a business, in a way, to just like focus on your household and making sure you have what you need to be successful for, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And that has really worked for us. And we talk about that a lot in both books, The Story of Christina and I, and the essay.
Yeah, and that helps us with what we do with Sledge House Media, because now we just fold right into it. Because we did it so long.
Yeah. Now, look, I'm so glad you said that. Now, Edward, you're going to segue into what I'm about to talk about now. Okay, all right. But before I even do that, let me just say this. You said something key, all right, Christina, when you were talking about like handling it almost as a business, okay? And I tell people all the time, marriage ain't for no weak man. Like if you weak and you getting married, man, you in for a ride, okay? Yeah. I don't care if you the bride or the groom, you in for a ride. This ain't about no weak stuff, because there's going to be friction. There's going to be bumps in the road. As my wife likes to tease me about saying peaks and valleys. Like, man, brother, it's going to be peaks and valleys. You know what I'm saying? But,
that's right.
As long as you all are together and you're working it out and you're solution oriented, and you're intentional about the moves that you all are making, then, man, hey, Edward, as you said before, man, like, it's all about the love. You know that you got her back, she got your back, y'all got each other's backs, y'all done built this family, y'all done did everything y'all needed to do. Man, yes, are we gonna argue? Yeah, we may argue. Are we gonna roast each other every now and then? Yeah, we gonna do that, But hey, you know what? That's what makes it fun. It keeps it spicy. And at the end of the day, like, to have somebody who like naturally, loves you and has your back and has your best interest in heart, pretty much at heart, man, look, you can't buy that. Okay?
You can't buy it.
You cannot buy that.
And you know what else too? If you know your role and accept your role in your marriage, that's key. Like in my marriage, it's 51-49, because if she's not happy, I cannot be happy. So
happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, so we take turns, we not afraid to say, okay, you got to take the lead on this, and then I play the back, or I take the lead on this, you play the back. There's no egos between us. It never been an ego between us. Yeah. So when she got to go to school and I got to do this, or I got to go to school, she got to do this. Yeah. It's only going to make us better. Mm-hmm. So, we know our roles, we respect our roles, we embrace our roles, and that helps us in our marriage.
Hey, look, come on, brother. All right. I told y'all going to get this gospel today. All right. We ain't passing around no collection plate or nothing like that, but y'all going to get this good gospel today, okay? And you hit it on the head. There are no egos. Yeah. All right. There is no big I, little you. All right. As my granddaddy would like to say, everybody from the South, boy, it's a big I, little you situation. I'm like, all right, bro. All right. You know what? I'm going to go on in the other room, because you about to start saying stuff that I have no idea what you're talking about. But as I got older, yeah. But it made a lot of sense. But no, that is you all made some very, very, very key points. And I hope some of my listeners, man, look, seriously, going through a little rough patch or what have you, sit down and listen to this interview, okay? Like, we got 22 years, all right? a family, military family, you know, but it's all about the love at the end of the day. And no ego, love. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So, look, you all hit it on it a few minutes earlier. Sledge House Media, all right? Established in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Started.
Man, 2021, established in 2021. As I said before, 4 books and a short film. All right, now, let me just ask you all this. Now, what inspired you, what inspired the both of you all to create a media company to tell the compelling stories of average people?
I'll take this question.
Yeah, she's the 51, so
yeah.
she'll take it.
I'm the CEO.
I might say the wrong thing and she hits me on the table or something like that.
So yeah, it really started from, it was like a passion project writing the first book, The Story of Christina, and our memoir. And so when we did that, we realized, okay, well, let's start an LLC for this, right? And then when we did that, we realized we had so much more content that we wanted to put forth. We had so many more stories, so many more opportunities to create these books into screenplays, into films, into TV shows, series. So when we did that, we said, you know what, we're just going to create this cross-platform media company that allows us to produce all of these projects, starting with the books, and then we've graduated to the screenplays, and now we have a short film that's out. So that was the source of it, was starting with the book, the first book, and then that just led us to this whole new company.
Yeah. Now, let me ask, how long did it take you to write that first book?
Almost
like
3 years.
3 years, 2
Yeah.
years? Well, I wrote my part earlier. So when I wrote my part, when I was in school, then we kept building on that. So, I think
it's about 3 years,
3 years
on
yeah.
and off. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now, look, there's a lot of us out here who have a book within us, okay, myself included, but sometimes, it's hard taking those first steps into getting, what you want out, because in your mind, you know how you want it to be. Oh, I want, 250 pages. I want the thick book. I want the, hardback. I want this, that, and the other. But so much goes into publishing, your own book and getting it out there. But let me ask, what advice, do you all have, or would you give self-published or independent authors?
Well, definitely do your work. Learn what it is. First of all, figure out what your genre is that your book is going to be in. And from that, it'll help you figure out what path you want to go. If you're going to self-publish, then, you want to research all the various platforms that are out there. There's KDP with Amazon, there's Barnes & Noble, there's Ingram Spark, there's vanity publishers. So it just depends on how much work are you able to put in. So if you're able to do the legwork and, from start to finish, the copywriting, getting it actually, printed and moving forward with marketing and all of that, if you're able to dedicate all that time, then you can do it on your own. But if you need some help with that, there's so many different platforms that are out there that are accessible to us as self-publishers that you can tap into, and they can support you with that goal of creating your own book or publishing your own book. So I would definitely say do your homework, learn the process of publishing a book, understand the different genres, the different types of books. There's paperback, hardcover, ebook, audiobook, all of that, right? So you want to make sure you understand, is this something I want to do, right? So once you do that, then it'll help you understand, okay, well, how much is this going to cost, right? And then you want to definitely get an excellent editor.
Yep.
As well as graphic designer to do your cover art. So all of those parts of the process take research. And so you want to give yourself time. Like, don't rush it. That's the one thing we would definitely tell folks. Don't rush the process. Make sure you're doing it right the first time. Because we had a couple starts and stops along the way. I will tell you that. And we learned from them. It did teach us a lot. But one of the big things is just really be patient with the process so that you can get it right.
The best thing about Sledge House Media is that I'm the head writer and she does the media and everything else. So we know our parts in this 100% thing, right? So I do 90% of the writing. She helps me with 10%. She does 90% of the media. I help her with 10% of the business and I help her with it. So she's great at what she do and I'm great at what I do. So my advice so she just talked about the publishing side. I'm talking about the writer side. What I would say is don't try to compete with other books that you think you need to compete with. You know, if you got a story to tell, if it's 100 pages, if it's 150 pages, if it's really 300 pages after editing and everything like that, then that's your story. But don't try to set a page number for your story, even if it's fiction, and hope that it's going to be good. Because the only great book that you can write is one that is in your heart and that you can put together. So don't try to compete with other books. Just do yourself and as a writer, and the rest will just come follow. It may take years. Some people don't even finish in years, but you know, it'll come. You know, it'll be a great book.
You know, what I love about all that is, you know, like, as you said, Christina, you know, I know one of the key things when it comes to writing is know your audience. Who are you writing this book for? Like, who's going to like purchase this book? Who's this book for? You know?
Exactly.
And, you know, not only that, but the presentation, you know, like, I mean, a lot of people don't understand just getting like an illustrator or whomever to get, you know, as you said, graphic design person to give you the cover and the back and, you know, the jacket of the book and all, you know, like you have to be meticulous when it comes to that as well, you know, because this is something that you're marketing, you know, you want it to catch people's eye. And, you know, even if you have the backstory and all that, you still have to capture the eye and the imagination of the person.
Absolutely.
You know, Edward, I'll tell you, you know, just as you said, don't try to be like someone else. You know, like I know in my mind, yes, I may want a 300-page book, you know, like, yeah, you know, that's why I consider it a good book. But if your story is 75 pages, okay, your story is 75 pages. But
it is what it is.
It is what it is, and make it the best 75 pages and be real about what it is that you're writing.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It has to be authentic. Like all of our books are 200 pages or less, and that is a niche that we decided to focus more on a novella versus a novel, because we know people are short on time, right? So, you know, short attention spans, everything. So all of our books are 200 pages or less. And that's why we started doing essays as well, because the essay is only like 25 pages, short, really short. So you have to, it's okay. It's okay if it's short, because maybe that's all you need. That's all you need to get your point across.
And the books that we write is action packed. Like even with our story, Christina and our real life stuff, you know, it just keeps you into it. So it doesn't have to be. And I'm not saying that, you know, 300 pages and better are not great books. But if you just write in 300 pages and 200 is nothing to say, then you just wasting everybody's time. But, you know, if you could put your book in it 100 pages or whatever, and that's your story and it's truthful and people feel it, then that's much better than 300 pages with 250. Just what is this about?
Right.
Okay. All right. Hey, y'all, look, giving y'all game now. Okay. I'm telling y'all. I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all. Like informative content, that's what you get here. All right. So for all my writers out there, including myself, man, get to it. Make it real. Be as real as possible. Don't worry about number count. Don't worry about who else is writing the book. Write your story and write it correctly. There it is. Boom. Okay. Now, look, we've been sitting up here talking, and, you know, we've been talking about the business, you know, been talking about marriage, you know, you all have a family. But now, how do we manage, to keep all this, going, like, afloat in one big, motion or whatever. So how do you manage a business, a family, and a marriage?
Good question. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is prioritizing it all. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier, is we learned the reason why we're able to successfully do this is because we were able to do it and within our marriage before we started the business. So we were already partners.
We already had a foundation.
Partners, right. We had the foundation. We were partners in life already. So that gave us the foundation, like Eddie said, to then be able to translate that over or transfer it over into the business. So it's not that big of a stretch. Because we were doing this really, technically, if you think about it, all along when we were managing work, school, children, household, so the marriage. So now we just took away school for us, both of us. We were in school for 10 years, basically. And then replaced it with the business. So now we just take that energy and we're still productive, right? We're still producing something at the end of the day, or there's going to be an end result. So now we take that energy that we're putting into our education, into those degrees, into the business. So that's how we're able to just kind of juggle it all. And we talk every day, about it all. And you have to do that. If you're going to work together with your partner, spouse, you need to be able to communicate. But we do have like finite times, right? So we work, we do have a full-time job. So we do work, we have business time, and we have family time. So we just kind of chunk it up. And some days we dedicate just to work in Sledge House Media or work in the family.
Or just relaxing and chilling.
Yeah.
Like she said, before I started writing, I was in grad school. And, when I went to get my BA, I loved writing. And before that, I wasn't even thinking about school. School was not even on my radar when I got out the Army. But I wanted to get my PhD. So I was continuous writing anyway to try to get my PhD, get into a PhD program. So right now, the writing has just been in me anyway. So even if I would have been to get my PhD right now, I still would have had time to keep writing, to go to school, education, on that side, like we did when we was in school. So we had that time allotted, and then we know how to split time with the family and friends. So it hasn't been hard for us. It hasn't been.
I think because we took our skill sets and our strengths, Todd, from what we were doing before, and we were able to easily transition and transfer those transferable skills basically into the business, which is, I have a background in project management, event management. So that was easy to just put it into, okay, well, now I'm managing projects for books, films. That's the same skill set, just different content, right? And then he's always been this historian, the storyteller. He's just been that person. And so he just translated now into writing.
Okay, all right.
But remember, we a different fingerprint. Everyone got fingerprints. So what works in our marriage may not work in your marriage, but it's a fingerprint. You got to find your niche with your own finger, and you can make it work right there.
But it can give you, a template. Something to just say, okay, well,
it's a finger.
It's something to look at.
We giving you a finger, a great finger, but you got to make your own fingerprint and make it happen, make it work.
Hey, look here. I love it. And like, to me personally, it's like a blueprint, to how to keep things successful, because, let's just keep it real. Like, in this day and time, you have to have more than, just the marriage. To me personally, like, there's something wrong with loving there's something wrong with loving your spouse, loving, whoever you're with or what have you. But so, like, sometimes there needs to be a little bit more, like, what else do we have outside of the marriage, and, if a business, such as you all, like with Sledge House Media, and putting things together, Edward, you're taking your valuable skills, Christina, you're taking your valuable skills and you're bringing them together and making it work for, one common cause, okay. And that just gets you, learning more and more and more about, your spouse every single day. Like, like, man, that keeps the attraction, that keeps the fire.
Yeah.
And, I think sometimes you have to think about it on, a much deeper level than, just like the outward level. So.
That's right.
See, when I see her work, I'm like, damn, damn. and then she reads my work and she goes, where'd this come from?
I'm like, who are you? Like, I've never known this person.
Yeah. So it's like we keep learning something from each other every day, and it's oppressive.
Well, they don't want to tell y'all, but it's that Brooklyn do or die attitude,
That's right. That's right.
All right. No, man, look, I love it. I love everything y'all talking about today, man. Look here. Told y'all, man, we got this good gospel over here now. All right, man. Y'all getting this good gospel. Okay. All right. But now, if people want to get in contact with you all, if they want to, check out your works, what have you, social media, websites, emails, how can they?
Okay, so our website is sledgehousemedia.com. We're on Instagram at sledgehousemedia, as well as Facebook. And we're on TikTok, Sledge House Media, and then on Twitter, we're on House Sledge. So yeah, you can contact us on any of those platforms. We're also on Goodreads as authors. If you're, you have some strong readers out there, we're on there. So yeah, you can contact us any of those ways. Our email is info@sledgehousemedia.com.
Right. Look here, y'all. Look, y'all didn't heard them now. Social media, they out there. Sledgehousemedia.com. That's the website. Man, go check it out. All right. Get some books. Read. Be inspired. Be inspired.
Trust me, you will be intrigued.
Oh yeah, they're compelling.
They keep you in it. Like, people that read it no less than 4 stars, and they like, this is crazy. Like, they can't wait for part 2 and stuff like that. And we can't either. We read it. We like, wow, we did this. Like, you actually have our book, and we like, wow, we actually did this. And we manifested. We did what we had to do. Thanks to God and Jesus Christ, we just kept moving and knocked down walls, and we keep moving. Keep going.
Still going.
Yeah.
Rising to the top.
I love it. Okay, come on now. Look, seriously, this is what we need in today's times, with so much other stuff out here being, thrown around on social media that people are paying attention to, breakups and people threatening other people. I ain't gonna say no names, but we know who we talking about now. A certain rapper from Chicago, married a woman from LA, and he threatened another dude that used to be on a comedy show. But I'm just saying, But anyway, moving on from that.
That was his fingerprint.
That was fingerprint, right? Okay.
I can't use that fingerprint for my marriage.
No,
that's that fingerprint.
Don't use that fingerprint, y'all. That's a bad fingerprint there. Don't use that one. Don't use that. Okay, but we've come to the last question, the question that my show is known for, so I'm going to present it to you all. Edward and Christina Sledge. Edward, we're going to start with you first. What is the one word that best describes you and why?
I think amazing. Because I used to just sit back and be like I was nothing. I used to be a scumbag and thought the world hated me and all that. But if even when I read in my book the things that I've come and been places, it's amazing. It's nothing short than amazing. Even just me being here, as soon 6 months in when I was born, my mother fell out a window. He committed suicide with me in her arms. So for me to just be here is nothing less than amazing.
Okay. All right. Hey, sure. Come on now. Christina, you got to bring us home now. Come on now. Come on, bring us home.
I would say that I am multi-hyphenated, multifaceted. Just that, though that word, either one. Just the fact that, just start from like a tech background, doing event management, project management. Now we're doing publishing and film production. It's like, to be able to do all of that is, you need to have multi facets to just be able to switch and pivot and change and just be open to doing different things. Mm-hmm. So And like Eddie, you know, I've just overcome so many different challenges along the way, and then still continue to strive to the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. So yeah, I would use that. I like the multi-hyphenate, multifaceted.
I mean, I would say she's incredible, but
Aw, thank you.
You didn't ask me what I would say about her, but I think she's incredible.
Hey, look here, you go. Come on now. Smooth it on there, brother. Smooth it on there now. All right. No, look. Hey, look. Unity. That's the one word that I can just, I mean, that's just the one word that's poking out at me. And, you know, it's just jumping out there because you all do it as a unit, you know, and, you know, man, Edward, you're in the military, you know, you have a military background, you know how it is to function as a unit, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's on one accord, man, not leaving anyone behind, like we are constantly in motion together, you know, and I just love man, look, the story alone is compelling itself, you know, but everything else that you all add with that just gives it more flavor, you know what I'm saying? And look, seriously, you know, like we need more examples and we need to hear about more examples like this, you know. And yes, I know I keep harping on the African American community, but yes, in the African American, you know, community, we need this, you know, because there's so much other stuff going on out here about what a person brings to the table, what, you know, this person may do, what this person may not do. And to me, that implies division. You know, you're trying to divide some way, somehow, and we don't need all that now. You know, like we need to be together, you know, and especially in this day and time where there's so much more going on, you know, prices are high, there's invasion in other countries. You know, man, people are losing loved ones left and right, you know, and man, we need to be together as much as possible. But to hear your story, man, I love it. I love it. The fact that you all have your business together, you all work together, and you all listen effectively. Yeah. You all effectively listen and solution oriented, you know. So, man, look, I mean, inspirational. I can use that, you know. So yes, you all are inspirational as well. But no, look, I love it. I love it, and I just love you all coming onto the platform today, blessing, you know, me, blessing the viewers, you know, with, you know, your time and, you know, man, your stories and your knowledge as well. And man, look, y'all family now, okay? All right, y'all family. So no, I can say y'all family now. Okay, so y'all are, look, seriously. You are welcome back at any time, whatever else you got going on. You know, I know this is just the beginning of many, many projects from, you know, Sledge House Media. So, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You are, man, y'all so welcome, okay? So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, look, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I have been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. You can follow me all social media platforms, Word with Ty Brownlow, or you can go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Get this good gospel. Get it. Y'all gonna get it. All right. Plus other great interviews as well. The Sledges. Love y'all now. Come on now.
Thank you.
Love coming through.
Thank you for having us.
All right. BK all day, y'all. All right.
That's look. Right. All day.
We out, y'all.